Welcome to CE Ag Talks and our special Spotlight video series where we talk one-on-one with suppliers serving the controlled environment agriculture industry. I'm Melinda Tasqueta-Mullane, Group Editor for Specialty Crops at Meister Media Worldwide. Today's Spotlight focus is on CropKing. Since 1982, CropKing has grown to become one of the largest manufacturers and distributors of commercial greenhouse structures and equipment, hydroponic systems, and growing supplies, with customers throughout the United States, Canada, Mexico, Europe, and the Caribbean. The company is dedicated to educating the next generation of growers and making hydroponics in the classroom accessible, whether you're growing in a greenhouse, an unused classroom, or on a desktop. Joining us today is Nathan Donley, technical horticulturist at CropKing. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
You've built a strong reputation for hands-on technical support. Can you walk us through what a typical site visit looks like and how your team works directly with growers inside their greenhouse?
Yeah, so on-site tech visits, it's very custom to the grower, but usually I try to show up somewhere between 9:30 and 10:30 in the morning, and then we're there all day looking at anything from environmental controls and facilities management to seed to harvest of tomatoes, lettuce crops, and anything else that people are trying to grow.
So, once a grower has reached out with a challenge, how do you determine the best technical support approach, whether it's pest management, system upgrades, or nutrient balancing?
So first and foremost, it's what the grower's needs are, right? And then looking at what, if we're talking about environmental control updates, it's what can they afford and what is going to give them the most control for their dollar, right? We can spend lots of money on controllers that doesn't necessarily have a good return on investment, giving what a lot of people are getting for their tomatoes and their lettuce, right? So we want to have the most flexibility, the most control that we can get, but also have a reasonable expectation for what those things are going to cost. And then from a pest and disease standpoint, we try to do our best to stay on the OMRI side of things, right? Things that are listed for organic production, so on and so forth. But we do spend a massive amount of time reviewing labels and going over those things with customers for if we do have to look at using a conventional pesticide, they have that full understanding of what the REIs are, what the PHIs are, so on and so forth. And we have to make sure that products are labeled in their state too. So yes, it's very custom, one-on-one.
Well, obviously, water and nutrient management can make or break a CEA system. How does your team support growers in getting these essentials right? And how hands-on do you get when solving these issues?
All right, so if we're talking a new project, we're going to strongly encourage the customer, the grower, to get their water tested before any money exchanges hands, right? The lab that we use, it's $66 for the test. When people are talking about making potentially a multi-six-figure dollar investment to put up a facility, a $66 water test to make sure that that water quality is what we would expect it to be, is not that much of an investment to basically ensure that that water will do what we want it to do. And then if it won't, then it's not a surprise when we tell a grower that, hey, we're going to have to look at potentially putting in a reverse osmosis system here because your sodium's too high or your chloride's too high or so on and so forth for why this water isn't usable. And in our workshop, I go into quite a bit of detail of that and then explain why all of these things are the way that they are. So, because it is a big deal, right? We don't have the soil, we don't have media as a buffer to buffer out those things that we don't necessarily want. And water quality is extremely, extremely important.
So, beyond solving immediate problems, how do you help growers build long-term confidence?
It is my goal when I'm working with these growers that Yes, I'm here for them, but I don't want them to be dependent on me, right? I'm not only giving them the answers, I'm explaining to them why we are doing what we are doing, so that then their minds can start to problem solve and work through things the same way that I do. I'm there to support them, but I want to convey that information in a way that people can absorb it and use it and then start making decisions for themselves as well. But again, I'm always here when people need me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today, Nathan. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.